now. We fired up and ready to go.
Let me hear you, let me hear you. Yeah. Put your hands together like this. Come on.
We fired up, ready to go, y'all. We fired up. We fired up.
Yeah.
Fired up.
Yeah.
Fired up. Fired up. Fired up. Fired up.
Yes.
You had a good week? Did you have a good week? Yes, you had a good week because you're back here today. God's been good to us. You know what the name of this song is? Back to Eden. Hey. Get back to Eden, living on top of the world. That's what God wants us to be, well, folk. You know, he don't want us running around here looking all mad and mean and, you know, look like our blood pressure got us, our diabetes got us, our anxiety got us. God wants us fired up. So I got some things to ask you tonight. Are you ready? Are you fired up? All right now. All right. Cut the music. I got a quiz. I got a quiz. All right. This is for the people who were here the first 2 weeks. Okay. It's going to be easy quiz. Easy quiz. What does new start mean? What does the word new start mean? Give me the 8 things that we'll start with N. What does the N mean? Nutrition. Nutrition. What does the E stand for? Exercise. Exercise. What does the W stand for?
Water.
What does the S stand for?
Sunshine.
What does the T stand for? Temperance. Temperance. Everybody got a little slow there. A little slow. A little slow. What does the A stand for?
Air.
Air. Have you been taking deep breaths this week? Do you know you expend more energy when you take deep breaths? You actually exercising. You're exercising the lungs and the diaphragm and all the muscles that are associated with that. What does the R stand for?
Rest.
Now, have we been getting good rest this week? Have we been cutting everything off, including lights, TV, and everything else, and going to bed?
Working on it.
Working on it.
Working on it.
Working on it. We got to have rest. And the last T? Trust.
And divine trust in God.
Trust in divine providence. Now, the first week, we valued ourselves, did we not? How much are we worth? Priceless. 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 Now, we started out and we talked about how we were going to focus on our health this week, these 8 weeks, these 60 days, correct?
Yeah.
Now, am I focusing on you?
No.
Who am I focusing on?
You.
On me. On me. So who are you focusing on?
Myself.
On yourself. Because you are priceless. And every day you get up, you got to reinforce the fact that you are priceless. Don't let other people put demands on you where it shows you that you are not priceless. There's no one else in the world like you. There might be somebody that looks like you, but it's still not you.
That's right.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our minds to peak performance.
Amen.
We're trying to get our bodies to peak performance. Because when we operate at peak performance, we're here to glorify God and edify others. When we get to our top performance, we can do all the other things that he wants us to do. Okay? So that's what that whole thing about new start. So nutrition. Now, how many of you have been having problems with the website? Were you able to get on the website? Are you starting to go through day 1, day 2? See, a lot of everybody was afraid because they thought they were going to start you all on one thing. But what they're trying to do is gradually take you up on a plant-based diet. They start you out day one on the barley max, and then they're talking about shopping for vegetables and then how to arrange your vegetables. And y'all looking at me like you're not knowing what I'm talking about. Have y'all been to the website? Huh?
The website didn't show me that.
Well, see, once you go to the website and register in, and I'll do it with you while I'm here this evening, it takes you to where you can go to day 1 video, day 2 video, day 3 video, day 4. So as you go through the 60 days, they're actually trying to ramp you up to a full plant-based diet. Okay? Anybody? Or am I the only one?
No.
Oh, so you're on it?
Yeah. It also gave you a variety with the barley mix, how to make that a variety rather
Yes.
than just the barley.
Right. And basically, if you've been taking the barley, you've noticed that your elimination has changed. That process will change. It will get more regular. And you're supposed to be more regular. You're not supposed to be carrying around those toxins all day. You can't think clear. You really can't.
And I was going to say, and you might have some issues like, I'm too old to have pimples. But you know what? I had a big hook on my nose and one on my chin, and it's cleansing me.
Oh,
So
it is.
stuff comes out.
It does cleanse. It's a cleansing, folk. It's a natural cleansing. So as you start going through, and a plant-based diet will cleanse you. Okay? So that nutrition is important. So that's why we put you on that video, so you can start with that nutritional diet. Okay? So how many of you are getting your exercise 30 minutes a day? Ooh, kind of like, it's like that commercial where the guy was in the restaurant and they were trying to grab the check and he couldn't get it up there to get his hand. You remember that crocodile, the alligator? Nobody wanted to put their hands up. 30 minutes a day. I saw Paul out there walking today. Now, what we were thinking about doing is probably starting a Thursday evening class. Would y'all like to participate if we had an exercise on Thursday evenings?
What time?
6 o'clock?
You mean after
You mean
this
after
is
this
over?
Thursday. No, no.
On a Thursday while
Just on a Thursday while we're going. Yes. Let me see if I can talk to one of my instructors to see if we can start a 6 o'clock class on Thursdays. Would you want to participate in that? Now, let's not have somebody here and you're not showing up. Okay? I think we may be able to talk to Ebony about maybe a Zumba class on Thursday evening. Okay?
Is that pretty advanced?
Well, we can do 2. We can do Zumba, and I think we can also, let me look at it, because we can also maybe able to do the neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is talking about it's exercise in a chair. Very simple. Very simple. But what it does is it really is exercising the brain as well as the body. Okay? So let's see if we can start that. But I think we can at least try to see if we can do the Zumba class if you're interested. And it can be modified, so it doesn't have to be that strenuous. But I think we need to at least get to the point where we're doing 30 minutes at least 5 times a week.
Yes.
Okay? All right. The biggie, water. How many's doing the 8 glasses? Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Why aren't we the ones who are not? Still hadn't gotten to it yet? Okay. It's a gradual thing. One of the best things that you can do, first thing in the morning when you get up, before you brush your teeth, take 8 glasses of water. You know why you do that? I mean 8 ounces. 8 ounces, sorry. As soon as you wake up in the morning. The reason why you want to take 8 ounces of water when you wake up without brushing your teeth is when you sleep at night, you actually grow bacteria in your mouth. You drink the water, swish it in your mouth and swallow it. Those are great bacteria to also aid in digestion. So you're getting the water, but you're also getting that bacteria. Because when you brush your teeth, what do? You swish around and you expectorate. So when you wake up in the morning, go to just keep a little, swish, swallow. That's your first 8 ounces. Then you know you started the day out right. Okay? All right. Sunshine. It was a nice day today. Oh, it was nice. It's going to be even nicer tomorrow. Don't let these days pass without at least getting out there and getting some of that vitamin D. Okay? It's very important. Very important. Now, there's a misnomer that people of a certain color do not get skin cancer. We do. We do. So if you're going to be out there in the sun, especially in the middle part of the day, make sure you still put on sunscreen. Now, we are protected some with our melanin, but we're not protected completely. We still get squamous cell and basal cell cancers of the skin. And what is the biggest organ on the body? In the body? It is the skin. Okay, so we must protect it as well. All right, temperance. This is a big one. If you're going to be on this for the next 8 weeks, and I know we're kind of killing this because we're feeding you this late at night. The theory is that if you're going to eat, have at least a 16-hour gap between your last meal and the next meal. There's some new research out that says if you have 16-hour gap, it's like a fast to the body. And so what happens is your body builds up ketones and it starts to tear down adipose tissue in the body, which is your fat cells. Some people usually when they get on a lot of these programs, they get to a plateau and they can't reach it anymore. Well, when they go to that 16 hours, this research has shown that those individuals actually start losing again. Okay? So that's, if you're going to eat, if you have breakfast at 6, make sure your last meal is at 2. Okay? Okay? If you eat at 6 o'clock in the morning, how many of you eat at 6 o'clock in the morning? I'm talking about some people who actually go to...
I eat at 5 in the morning.
At 5 in the morning, then you'll...
I'm at work.
Well...
That ain't the lunch time.
1 o'clock. 5 o'clock. If you ate at 5, then you eat at 1. No, it didn't. You become adaptable to the situation. Your body really does. Just think about it. And there are some things that you can actually do. And I'm not talking about don't drink anything as far as coffee or juice or anything like that. It has to be a fast except for water. Believe me, if you do this, you will see results. You still can eat that big meal at breakfast. You can still eat a big lunch. I guarantee you, you'll be able to go to 16 hours. Say what? Okay, so if you eat at 8 o'clock in the morning, then your last meal need to be at 4. You got to have 16 hours. It's the 16 hours that's the fast, no matter how you do it. If you eat at 6 and then eat at 4, that's only 14 hours. It's got to be 16 hours. Okay? I'm telling you what the research is. That's just how it is. Again. Now, what you can do, now there are other things that you can do, folk. Like you can reduce your overall calories. Now, metabolically, I think some of the machines that weighed you also told you what your caloric intake was minimum per day. Now, if you were to reduce the amount that you ate per day, then you would lose as well. So say if your metabolic rate was 3,000 calories a day, then you cut back to 2,500, you lose at the end of 1 week 3,500 calories, which would be 1 pound. If your metabolism is set at 1,500, it's going to be more difficult to do. Okay, so what we do is we exercise. We mitigate that by burning more calories. But if you also go to the fast, what it does is it increases your body metabolic rate. So that's another way of doing it. Okay? Air. I know a lot of people like staying in their homes, but that's potentially one of the worst places you can be. Because there's no exchange. And basically we need oxygen. Trees produce fresh oxygen for us. We got to get outside. And the other thing is you got to expand that lung. Okay? Now, we talked about the benefits of rest. We're supposed to be getting at least anywhere between 6 and 7 hours of sleep at night. If you're not, you're depriving yourselves. You're wearing yourselves out. The body has to rejuvenate itself. Okay? And that's the reason for that. And that's why it's so vitally important. Okay? Now, this class is supposed to be about activity. So you're not supposed to be just sitting there and just, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Yes.
I've got a question about the 16-hour fast. How often do you need to do that for it to be
Every day.
beneficial?
Every day. Every day. Every day.
Now,
You know, there are some people who actually do it, and they do it quite well. If you think about it, on Sabbaths, you do it. You eat breakfast, and then you eat around 1, 2, unless you go back and snack at night. And again, you know, there are going to be some days when you don't do it, but you got to realize what the benefit is. Now, if you're in this period where you're trying to make a difference, you know, summer's coming, you know, I'm trying to get into my summer outfit, you know, and I want to drop it real quick, you know. The thing is, all of us need a boost. And we all psychologically need some kind of way to see that we're doing something. So the reason why you're doing this austere diet right now is that you really want to see some results. Then you can back off a little bit. Now, I didn't say go hog wild and go back to the other way. You have to determine where you want to be. Yes?
What does the diabetic do about that 16-hour period?
Again, I caution when I say with anyone, you will find in this program as you start losing weight, your diabetic requirements will change. Okay? So even if you're diabetic, you're going to actually see your requirements for whatever you're on going to change a little bit. You might need less food, you might need less medication, but anything that you do, you need to make sure that your doctor is aware of it. Okay? But I can tell you right now, you drop 10 pounds, you're going to see a difference in your requirements. You drop 20 pounds, you're going to see a whole lot more difference in your requirements. I promise you. I promise you. Any other questions? Yes.
a question about when you were talking about drinking 8 ounces of water when you first wake up.
Yes.
Put it in your mouth and then swallow it. But I thought I had been told about you're supposed to drink maybe. I've been told to drink like hot water, like when you first wake up, get up, drink a cup of hot water, and maybe even put lemon in it, and drink that like the first thing that you do in the morning when you wake up. And I think that's supposed to kind of, I don't know, help you eliminate or whatever. But have you heard of that? Or no?
I have heard of that, but what they're talking about is when you finally get up and get going. I'm saying when you first stir up out of the bed.
Well, this, I mean, now, that was the impression I got too, was when you first wake up, you know, that would be the first thing you put in your body.
Well, I will say it this way, and I'm not trying to disagree with anybody, but psychologically, when you first get up in the morning, I know when I do, I don't go to the kitchen, I go straight to the bathroom. So when I go to the bathroom, if I take a drink and swish it, you know, that's before I get to do anything. Then as I prep and do whatever, then I can get up and start, you know, I'm more aware of what's going on, and then I can do other things. But I'm just talking about taking 8 ounces, swish it in your mouth and swallow it. Then as you get going, then you can go and prepare your lemon and everything. I know my sister does that. And she does it after she gets up, takes her shower and everything, goes downstairs, she prepares and all of that. But I'm saying you've already taken that 8 ounces that I've already told you, and you've already started the day. Still can do it, not a problem. Any other questions? Yes.
Can you expound a little bit more on the role of ketones with the burning of adipose fat? Because I've heard somebody say that, but I didn't really get the theory behind it, the working theory behind it.
It goes back to the brain needs glucose, period. That's how you function. You function off of glucose. So what happens when you eat goes into your stomach, the body masticates it, churns it up, and then what it does is it looks and sees exactly what you have, whether you have carbohydrates, fats, or proteins. If you got predominantly glucose, then if your brain needs the glucose right now, it takes it in and sends it up to the brain. But mostly in a meal, you don't need it all right away, so what does the body do? It stores it. Okay, so with carbohydrates, basically you store it into fat. Now, if you're running around not eating, the body says, okay, it's time to convert that adipose tissue because the brain now is operating and it needs some glucose. So what it has to do is to break down that fat. When it breaks down that fat, it causes ketosis. Ketosis is just a thing that we say when you're actually going through lipolysis or breakdown of fat. Okay, so that's why it's the strong indication that, especially with these protein diets, you hear about, okay, you got to see whether or not you're going into ketosis to see whether or not you're burning fat. That's what that is. Now, the long version of that is that there's been more research that talks about, some of you may have heard about this, ghrelin in the brain with the hypothalamus and also leptin, and that the satiety of taking in your meals, the brain actually can trigger different hormones to do certain things when it needs it. So then that becomes an issue too, especially when, for example, diet soda with the aspartame. What has happened is you take in a diet soda thinking that you don't take in the 140, 160 calories of that soda that you take in. So you've actually had less intakes of calories for the day. So when you do that, you say, oh, great. But what happens is the aspartame actually goes to the brain, it interferes with the leptin and the ghrelin, and it says, we haven't eaten yet. And so then you go there and kick it up and start eating something else. And you're actually taking in more calories because the aspartame has altered the sensitivity in your brain of that hormone. So now they're finding out, and that's why you hear the research talking about diet sodas actually cause you to increase in weight. It has to do because that's what's happening. That's what the research is showing. Okay. Any other questions? No? Everybody's good? So everybody's doing good on the website? So you got there? Okay, I will show you with my computer how to do it. All right? And if you got an email address, I'll send it to you. The only thing you have to do is click on it and I'll show you how to register for it. Okay? But in order for this to work, we have to incorporate the 8 principles. And what are the 8 principles? Let's go over together. New start. N. E. Exercise. W. Water. S. Sunshine. T. Temperance. A. Air. R. Rest. T. Trust. All right. Give yourself a hand, everybody. Now this evening we're going to bring in our exercise expert, Mr. Daryl Farmer. Please give him your undivided attention.
About the hips, the buttocks, the thighs, and trying to get them in condition. And some of the easiest ways to get them in condition is doing lunges or squats. The easiest thing to do. You don't need to go to the gym. Even you can. I had some resistance bands I had bought out that go around your ankle. That strap out and you stretch and you step out, squat, step out, squat. And it gives you resistance on your movement at the same time building and developing. But I'm gonna let Cynthia help me with this first one. This is really a squat exercise, kind of work on your legs. You can pull out a deck of Uno cards. She doesn't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just using her because she used to work with me, train with me some years ago, and I know that she can possibly do this. You can use a deck of Uno cards or a deck of cards, that you pick up from Dollar Tree, and just throw them out on the floor. These are ones I had at school that the kids kind of work on numbers when I'm doing number games with math. And so what you do is you just throw them out. You just throw them out on the floor. You just throw them all over the place. And I'm just going to throw out a couple. Normally you can throw out the whole deck. And what you're going to do, you're going to reach down, squat, pick it up, keep going, squat, and pick it up. And you're going to be moving all across the floor, picking up the deck of cards. So if you put down 20, say you put down 20, you pick up all 20. That's one set. Take about a 15 second to 30 second break, and then throw down 20 again. Do 4 sets of 20. So you can do that throughout the week, and you can do these exercises every day of the week. So I'm just going to, what I got down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to let her demonstrate it for me. You think you do it for me? And you can step for the lunge also. There you go. And so you're breathing at the same time you're doing this, because you want to breathe while you're moving. Inhale and exhale as you're going down. Doing this, it seems very something like this seems very insignificant, but it's something fun to do, and something fun to do. Some of you have grandkids, some of you have kids of your own, and sometimes you're trying to build a relationship around things, and you do some fun things with them. These are some things you can do with them that they will just have fun just doing with you. But at the same time, you're getting something out of it as well. And so you can throw down a whole deck of 50, hold a deck of 20, do 4 or 5 sets each day of the week. That would develop your thighs, your quads, your hamstrings, give you that nice butt lift that you're looking for. All that stuff you see on the Brazilian butt lift and all that stuff, you can do it right here with deck cards. And so, now, Ms. Hannah, I'm gonna let you. You wanna help me with this one?
I don't know.
Come on. All right, she's gonna sit in one chair. I'm going to sit in the other. What Edward had talked about neuroplasticity, about using how the brain and the body works in conjunction with each other. That's all we talked about last week with Brain Gym, with kids work with using cross-lateral movement, things like that, which increases. It also helps them academically as they move forward, especially with music, math, reading. It enhances all of that, and especially with our seniors, it even increases their memory and potential to kind of gain more and work. Kind of in synonymous with the body and the mind together on other things, as well as with exercise. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sit down in front of her, and I'm going to give her one ring like this, okay? Give her the other ring, and typically with chair exercises, you can warm up any kind of way. You can warm up doing marching in place. You can move your hands around. You can do butterfly swings. You can do all of those things, or you can just start off like this. So I'm going to pull, okay, and we're going to rotate, okay? And so we're working on upper body movement. And so I want her to breathe too. Now she's trying to power drive me. she's saying you're not do me like that. She's gonna pull me out the chair. But what you want a consistent rowing movement. And so you're breathing. So every time she pulls, because you have some people want to do this. Okay. And so they're about to pass out. So you don't want to do that, because one, you're holding all that air in. All of a sudden you pass out and nobody knows what's going on. You're on the floor. And so you want to make sure that you are breathing as you exercise, and also what Edward brought out earlier about making sure you stay hydrated. You want to stay hydrated before, during, and after your workout. If you're working out at high intensity levels, you want to make sure you're adding some electrolytes to your water, whether it be lemon, strawberry, something that's going to get it, not soda. You can use a Gatorade or something. You see some people walk around with Gatorades just to be drinking. To me, it's a waste of time, because you're not burning up anything to replenish anything, so you don't really you're wasting your money. Mm-hmm. And so if you're working out hard, you're burning those salts, and you're expending a lot of energy, then you need to replenish that. And typically, if you're working at high intensity level, especially your proteins, you want to get back in. And typically, after you work out, you want to get them back in within 45 minutes to an hour, so it repairs all those muscles that you've broken up, or at least an hour or so before. So you're feeding it both ways.
Question.
Yes.
Did you say an hour before you can?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And typically, you see some guys coming to the gym, or they're buying all these protein drinks, things like that, spending $5, $6 a bottle, and they haven't even started. They got brand new tennis shoes, a brand new shirt. They smell new. They smell new coming off the rack, and so they're wasting a lot of money. Typically, you can get the simple things. I keep a jar of peanut butter in my bag. Take 4 spoonfuls of that when I finish working out. I got my wife doing the same thing. And it does what it needs to do. You got to get, if you need to keep fruit in there, in my bag now in the car, because I work out after I leave here. I've got a banana in there. I've got a tangerine in there. I keep fruit all the time. So you want to keep things that are nutritional and that will keep you full for longer periods of time, so you don't have to spend a lot of time eating a lot of junk. Mm-hmm. Because the junk will keep you coming back for more and more and more, and you'll never get full, but you'll be packing on those pounds. Mm-hmm. And that's what you don't want. You want to stay away from that. Mm-hmm. So with this exercise, you're moving back and forth. Upper body movement, just slow, consistent, because you want to get a rhythm just with your partner, okay? And so you're working this, okay? Now we can also take this, working arms, and we're going to bring it out. Bring it all the way up, just like this. And then bring it down.
I feel that.
Okay? Bring it all the way up. Okay? And then bring it down, circling it down. So when you circle up, Giving that rotation, movement on your arms, working on your triceps, and then bringing it back down, squeezing here. You got your chest muscle. So if your breast is sagging, your chest is sagging on your men, this gives you that nice tone. Because when you squeeze those muscles, it tones those muscles. It gives a contraction on those muscles, and it starts to firm them up. And so instead of sagging, they start to lift up like you did when you're 20 years old. Okay. All right. And so you're working upper body, shoulder work. Same time working the chest. All right, and bringing it back down. Okay. And so with this, just these simple movements, good upper body development. Okay. Now you can also do leg work as well with the marching or pushing the leg out. I'm going to grab that stick over there and show you what you can do as far as that. Hold on to that. Don't move. Okay. So with this, you can grab any stick around the house, a broomstick, chair fitness, leaning out. Okay. Stretching all of this out, bringing it back. Okay. Stretching out. Do that several times on each side. Switch to the other side. Stretching it out. Bring the stick in front of it here. Bring it here. Bring it up. Bring it down. Bring it up. Bringing it down. Bring it up. Bringing it down. Or you can change the routine. Bring it up. So you're getting your leg work in, because some people can't do this. Especially many of our seniors can't lift their legs up because of either injuries or either health concerns, and they can't do that. And so just what you might be able to do this. They can't do that, okay? And so you want to make sure that you can modify certain things for each individual's needs, because what you might do, someone else may not be able to do, but what can you do to modify it so that they can still get the same enjoyment and still continue to have a good quality of life as they move forward? And so with that,
that's exercise you can do while watching Gunsmoke.
Yeah,
news.
exactly. And he raised a good concern, because I keep an exercise on the board for my kids during the week. We do exercise every day before they get started. While I'm taking roll, they're doing exercise. They got music playing, and they're whatever the exercise of the week is doing. And so I'm taking roll, so they're busy while I'm doing it, not sitting still. And then when they stop, but during the week, I tell them, take the exercise that you're doing in between the commercials, do those exercises, stay busy. When the show comes back on, watch the show. When the commercial come back on, do a set of 10. Do 20, and then commercial comes back on, watch a show. You'd be surprised. Some of my kids that were the heaviest, that didn't do any exercise, they would go home and get their parents involved. Because I said, you'd be surprised what your parents would do by the things that you share with them throughout the day if you take it home and just let them, if you're enthusiastic about it. And they did that. Some of the parents would come back and say, man, that exercise, man, that was really neat. And they started getting involved in some of the things that were happening around the school as well, because of things that they were doing with their kids at home that they shared. And so it does go a long way. Okay, so just little things that will enhance your quality of life. Just the simple things. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Little things around the house. With this, you can also use it here. Bring it all the way over.
Flashback when they were cheerleaders, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. With that, you can do the same thing with that, and I'll show you with the deck rings again. Take the stick here, rotating, just like you. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, moving, and you can bring it out. You add a little bit more extensively. Coming here. Stretching the back. Stretching the arms, and then you can walk it down. Stretching the back, walking it back up. So what might be easy for Tony might not be as easy for her. And so doing this for her, by the time she gets right here, she might be in excruciating pain. But the fact that she can get to this point and it feels comfortable, that's where she stops. And Tony might be able to go all the way down. Okay, but then again, he might get all the way down to the bottom, and then he says something bad to his wife, and then he doesn't get back up again anyway. But with the deck rings, you can also use these also. With the deck rings, you're kind of just moving out here, and you kind of rotate just like a washing machine. Still same thing, doing the hip motion, working on your spine, back, stomach muscles, because she can't do planks on the floor. Very hard for her, but she can do this. Still working on her stomach, abs, rotating. And then you rotate the other way, take it back the other way, do the same thing. Whatever you do on one side, do it on the other. Do it on the other. And that's just with deck. If you don't have deck rings, just get you a towel or something, wrap it together, and use a towel. Just find something around the house that you can utilize, because this might be too expensive. Maybe you might be on fixed income, and this might be too much. But find something simple that you can use around the house. You know, an old inner tube or something. You can just cut it in a circle and just use that. Okay. With the legs, you can do the marching with the legs. And you don't have to do a whole lot. You just want to get busy, because you can do this 20 times, then stop. You can hear. And there's still in between that leg break, stretching out the chest muscles. Stretching out the chest. You might have 15 seconds of that, then go back to the marching. If you can take it up a little bit, bring it up a little higher. Do a slow motion. Hold it, isometric hold, 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 out, 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 out. Okay, so it's
Daryl, I want you to do that same exercise, but I want you to go with the hand on one side and the leg on the other side.
So you want me to kill myself here?
No. Keep this leg good up with this arm, but up with that leg.
Opposite.
What you're doing there is you're teaching the brain. The brain actually becomes stimulated. These are some of the exercises you can do, and we'll talk about neuroplasticity, because what you're doing is you're stimulating a new part of your brain. And so no matter what age you are, you're still learning. And that also keeps you peak performance as you get older.
And that's all cross-lateral movement. So with this, I'm gonna let you do this too. Chair exercise, or use it standing up. I'm trying to do it in a chair so everybody can benefit from it, because I have a lot of people in here that are some of my seniors in here that pretty much dominate the room, and so I wanted to make sure I covered some things that they could work with as well. Chair exercises with the bands. The wider you keep your feet, the more intensity on the band. So you have the curls. Sit at the edge of the chair, arm curls. Breathe on the stress. Hold the contraction. Okay. That's for curls. Shoulder work. Okay. So you have upper body, you have curls. If you want to sit in the chair and do tricep work for the back of the arms, it's the same thing. These are the commercial grade. You can get these at Dick's or Academy Sports. But I always tell everybody, start off cheap. Just go to Walmart. You can get a set, three in a bag. Might be anywhere from $5 to probably $11, somewhere like that. And okay, I like free. I like free. Or you can do it. You can get it free. But I'm gonna let Miss Campbell. Let her work with this on the curls, okay? All right?
Okay.
You can use one.
You have to tell me
okay,
again.
all right.
Notice the accent, I'm from England. I was classically trained by my aunt who worked for the Royal Kitchens in London. She cooked for the royal family. She never met the Queen. She was in the kitchen. But between her and my mother, they taught me all the ins and outs and all the techniques. And I was raised eating meat, but I think for humanitarian reasons, I decided to become a vegetarian over 30 years ago. and God has blessed. But my passion for food and imparting a healthier alternative to people has been my passion and my goal. So today, in keeping with what you're embarking on now with the 60 Days in Me, we are going to, the dish that I prepared is actually an oat burger or oat patty. And in it, and everything is organic. And in it we have walnuts, sesame seeds, we have sunflower seeds. I even have some oat bran in it for extra fiber. If anyone has any nut allergies, you can, just omit them. Does everyone have the recipe handout?
Not yet. I was going to give it out after we eat.
Okay. So, have we said the blessing?
We have not.
Okay. Well, let's all bow our heads then. Kind Father in heaven, thank you so much for bringing everybody here safely. We pray that you would pronounce your blessing over the food that we're about to partake of. Help it to go to the nourishment of our bodies. For we ask in your blessed Son's name, amen.
Amen. Amen. So at this time, let's go ahead and proceed to the banquet table and partake, and then we will immediately get seated, and then you can have your meal while she demonstrates how to cook it.
All right, so I believe that Cheryl is handing out the recipe, and so I'm going to have you come over here, and we're just going to go through this step by step. This is a nice, wholesome recipe, and as I said, everything is organic, and you can get all the ingredients at your local Publix grocery store. All right, so we're going to start off with 4.5 cups of water. And make sure you're using purified water when you're cooking. So I'm going to let Dr. Pelote measure this out. This is 4 cups, and you can just add the ½ cup. You can put it in this one if you like. So we're going to start with 4.5 cups of water. Does everyone have their recipe? No. Oh, okay. All right, then. I'm going to put it in this one. Make it to your particular taste. My husband loves hot, spicy foods. He's from Tennessee. So when I make this, I put curry powder in it. Hot curry powder, and he loves it. The rest of us can't eat it, but he loves it. All right, so 4.5 cups of water. We're going to bring this to a boil. And then when this boils, I'm going to have you measure out, here's the oats. This came from Publix. It's organic rolled oats. Do you see it? It's only $1.99. So go ahead and measure that out in there.
How much?
Everyone have the recipe? Okay, can you tell her how much she's supposed to be measuring out on the oats?
4.5 cups.
Okay, so 4.5, and I think we pre-measured it, so, but go ahead, yeah, just to double check me, yeah. Yes. No, you have to use the rolled oats, yes.
Okay.
All right, wait till it comes to a boil, and then you can add that. Now, what we can do is go ahead and add in the Bragg's Liquid Amino. Bragg's Liquid Amino, it's like a soy sauce. Can anyone see it? And it adds flavor to food, similar to soy sauce. It doesn't have the amount of sodium. And it's a good seasoning alternative. Anyone used it before? There you go. Yes, very good. All right, so to this, we're going to go ahead and add ½ cup of Bragg's Liquid Amino. And pour it in this one, yeah. And then you have the measuring spoons there. You can pour all this into the water while it's boiling. Is that ½ a cup? I have to what? He's holding.
Let's have a cup.
Okay, very good. All right. Pour it in the water. And will you go ahead and, Cynthia, and measure out 1 teaspoon of the garlic granules? Yes, there you go. And we can put in all the seasonings in the water while it's boiling. Good job. All right. All right. Hopefully this will do do its job. This is not as is this working? Yes. The light's on? No, the lights
Just went on.
The light went off. Okay. Did we trip? Okay. Okay, we'll see what happens. It's coming along very slowly, so we'll just wait for it to do its thing. All right, you should have had 2 recipes. Okay, the second one, we're not going to demo, but it's basically how, if you enjoyed the rice today, everyone's afraid of cooking brown rice, but it's really very easy, very foolproof, and I've given you a recipe on how to do that. 1 pound of rice is about 10 servings, okay? And so, and I like to mince up my onions really fine so it disappears in the food. And put it in the water with the rice and then just put it on high. And then when it begins to boil, then you reduce the heat and cover it. And add in the salt or whatever else you'd like to do with it, okay? And that's just a basic brown rice. Yes? Did you have a question? Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All righty. This is going to take a little while. So we're going to just move on, okay? Just in being conscientious of the time. So we're going to pretend that this has boiled, okay? So to this, when the water comes to a rolling boil, you're going to put in the oats and let it cook for 5 minutes. Just stir it constantly. And then you're going to remove it from the heat and put in the nutritional yeast. And anyone use nutritional yeast? Okay. All right. It comes like this. You can buy it at any store. And Bragg's also makes it. You can buy it bulk like this from like Whole Foods, and I think the Nourish, they have it also in bulk. But you can buy it in the little jars from Publix and other stores. Yes? Can you get it at Kroger's? I believe Kroger's has it. Yes. I'm sorry? Yes. Okay. And then, once this is boiled, I'm sorry, but this is just taking too long here. Huh? It wasn't? Oh, okay. All right, and then I like to add in the sunflower seeds. Did everyone taste a little crunch, when you were eating the patty? Okay, those are the sunflower seeds, the sesame seeds, and the walnuts that give you that little extra crunch. And then I just put a gravy over the top, to kind of give it a bit more flavor. I'm sorry? Moisture. Yes. All righty. So once this is boiled, and you have to forgive me, this is just taking longer than we thought. Okay. So then once you've done everything, you add in, I like to add in 1/3 cup of wheat bran. That just gives you extra fiber. Wheat bran, what it is, you get the grain of wheat. And what they do is they strip away the bran and the fiber. The bran and the germ, the wheat germ and the wheat bran. And then what's left is a little white part of the wheat, which is called the endosperm. And they grind it up and they bleach it. But it has no nutritional value because they've stripped it away. So what they do when they make white bread or white flour is they do something calling enriching, and they're adding synthetic nutrients. Right. I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just telling them to push the pot back on.
Oh. Okay. All righty. So the bran, just going to give you extra fiber. Oats, we know, are full of fiber, and it is gluten-free if anyone's gluten sensitive. Alrighty, and it's very inexpensive. This came from Nourish. I think it was like $1.
89 cents.
89 cents, yeah. Alrighty, so after this has come to the boil and you've made your mixture, and you need to get some gloves and a bowl of cold water because the consistency is going to be very sticky. So you wet your hands and you form the little ball and you flatten it out into a little circle like what you had today. And then you can either line a pan. This is an aluminum pan, so I would not oil it. I would put a piece of parchment paper on it. I don't cook with aluminum. Everyone knows why.
Explain why.
Okay. Aluminum has an affinity to the brain, and they've linked it to Alzheimer's, and so we don't cook with aluminum. But so many things are aluminum based. So for this particular purpose, just line it with parchment paper. The parchment paper that I use is an unbleached. Do you see it there? There it is. It's unbleached, so you don't have to worry about it. See the brown? Yes. Yes. And there you go. Okay.
Where do you buy it?
You can buy it at Walmart and Kroger's. It comes in a roll. Just look for unbleached parchment paper. It'll look like that. I'm sorry?
I I get that because my granddaughter baked cookies on them, but it's not on bleach. I haven't tried the on bleach. So
Yes.
I have to look for that.
Yes. And so the food will not stick to it. Okay, so then after you've formed your patties and you've done the whole, one recipe that I've given you there will make between 20 and 24 patties, okay, in the size that you had today. So if you don't want to eat all of them, if you've made one recipe, what you need to do is separate them between parchment paper, and then you can freeze them. If you put them on top of one another, then they'll stick together. But if you bake them and then you want to freeze them, then you don't have to put the parchment paper. But it'll keep for a long time in the refrigerator or the freezer, okay? And then to warm it up, you just leave it out in the refrigerator, or you can put it on a George Foreman grill and just flip it over really quickly and it'll warm it up, and you can put it on a burger or 2 slices of bread, whatever, and enjoy it that way, okay? This is slowly coming to a boil. I do see some action now. All righty. So, Cynthia, go ahead and let's just wait a little bit. What do you think? I think we can do it. It's not quite boiling, but it's hot enough. Don't you think?
It's what enough?
Hot enough. Listen, everyone becomes British when they're around me. Yes, go ahead and pour the oats in it. And then what I want you to do, Dr. Pilote, is start just stirring it around. Someone keep a time. 5 minutes is all it takes. 5 minutes. Just time him. Someone have a watch while he just stirs that around. And this is not quick cooking oats. It's just regular oats. If you cook it a little longer, it'll just be a softer consistency. But once you bake it, it will firm up. All right. So while he's doing that, and the water should evaporate pretty quickly. Does someone have a stopwatch or something? They're keeping tabs of time? Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So it's coming along, slowly but surely.
Claire, what about your salad dressing? Do you have that recipe?
Who's asking?
I am interested about the salad dressing.
This salad dressing? Oh, no. No. Everyone's been asking me about the strawberry salad dressing.
Yeah, that's good.
So that one I will give out. I'm actually a licensed caterer. I was a restaurateur, so I owned my own restaurant and for several years. Now I'm a licensed caterer. So I do events and weddings and different functions. So some recipes I don't give out because I'm not trying to create competition for myself. So, but I will give you the strawberry vinaigrette. It's a very easy recipe, okay? And maybe next week we'll have it typed up for you. Okay, I'm thinking I remember how to do it. I just get a 1 pound flat of strawberries, or use organic strawberries. You know, the Bragg's makes an apple cider vinegar. Anyone use it? Okay. So you need a high-speed blender, and you're going to put in half a cup of apple cider vinegar, and to that you're going to add like one cup of water, I believe, and then put in your strawberries. I juice half of a lemon and a pinch of salt, and then, oh, okay, and so the other thing, if you want to make, since you're on the raw diet, what I do is I soak organic dates. I like to do them overnight. Make sure you remove the pit. There's a big pit inside it. Okay. And then I just soak it overnight. And then for this recipe, maybe about 20 dates. Put it in there in the high speed. Blend everything up. It'll be beautiful and creamy, just how you had last week. Oh, and then lastly, I add in some poppy seeds. And that's it. Very simple, no preservatives. Yes, we do use some oil. I'm sorry. Yes. And I'm sorry. You can use olive oil. Make sure it's cold pressed. Okay. And I think it's about a cup of oil. Okay. And the oil is what gives it its creamy consistency when you put it in a high-speed blender. But I'll have the recipe typed up for you next week. Okay. All right. Okay. How are we doing on with the time? Okay. Looks like he's done. Right?
Is that done?
Is the 5 minutes up? 2 minutes? Okay. Cynthia, can you measure out the nutritional yeast, please? How much nutritional yeast should she use?
1/4 cup.
A 1/4 cup. So go ahead, Cynthia. Just dry it out with a paper towel.
And Claire, I think it's important that you're using all the whole grain and the
Yes.
fiber.
Yes.
And again, it's a process of elimination. And the reason why I'm stressing elimination so much during this class is that one of the #1 cancers is what? Cancer of the colon.
Colon, yes.
And in order to fight that, really a high fiber diet is one of the things that we know decreases that risk of colon cancer.
Right.
Claire, can you please explain why you use Bragg's aminos?
Oh, okay. It's a raw product, and it's doesn't have the amount of sodium as soy sauce, and less processing. Okay, you've got a 1/4 cup of the. Okay, you can go ahead and add it in there, and he can just stir it in. How are we doing on the time? Does he need to remove it from the heat?
51.
I'm sorry?
48.
Oh, okay. All righty. So, go ahead and add in the bran.
How much? 3/4 cup.
3/4 of a cup. I think we can turn off this heat. Looks like it's pretty done to me, Edward. I think it. 1 minute? Okay, well. Oh, wait a minute. Someone's trying to throw us off here. All righty. I think we can turn it off and just let the heat from the element. Which way do I go? There we go. All righty.
Everybody over the age of 50 has had a colonoscopy, correct?
Okay, go ahead and pour it in so he can stir it in there. Okay.
I said over 50. All these young kids.
All right. Cynthia, can you, anyone have any nut allergies here? No, great. Okay.
What would you substitute for the wheat bran?
For the wheat bran, I mean, you're using oats. You can get oat bran, but then you're already using oats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Are you gluten? Okay. What about the bran? That's not going to happen. It's in the endosperm, I think, right? In the white part where the gluten is. It's in the white part. It's not. It's in the. Yeah, I don't think it's in the bran. Okay. And you can. Yeah. Alrighty, so we're going to put in, you measured out the sesame seeds?
1/4.
A 1/4 cup. And I like an array of different nuts and grains. All right, and then you can go ahead and measure in the sesame seeds. The walnuts, it's very hard to find organic chopped walnuts. So what I do is I have a little kitchen hammer and I'll just put it in a Ziploc bag and just pound it away, you know. Or you can just break it up by hand. All right, there's the consistency. Do you see the sesame seeds, Greg? She put the sunflower seeds in, yes. She's doing the sesame seeds now. Oops. Okay. Okay, great. All righty. And now let's get the walnuts. And these are not broken down. Do you see them right here? So we'll just need to break them up. Yeah. You can just do them by hand. Just break them up. That's good, like that. Yeah. All right. Now, I like to add a little bit of the Better Than Bouillon. Anyone use it? I like it. The no chicken is what I use, the vegetarian no chicken base. And it adds a nice little flavor. I have to admit, I walked out the house and left it sitting on my counter. So we're going to eliminate it today. Yeah, good. Okay. All right. We are good. So I think we've covered everything on the ingredients list, correct? Yeah. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is he's got that nicely mixed up. You're going to wet your hands. Cynthia, do you see that baking pan in front of you? If you can get it out and put it on the other cart behind you over there, and then we'll line it with that parchment paper. Now this is going to be very hot, so usually I let this cool, unless you've got hands of steel. Yeah. What we would do is once this is cooled, I'm sure this is too hot. Uh-oh. It's stuck. Oh, okay. Let me just get this off my shoe. It's hung up on my shoe. There we go. Alrighty. So, I don't know if I can do this. We'll see. I'll wet my hands. This is cold water. I'm going to just... And you need to wet your hands so that it doesn't stick to it. Okay? And just form a little patty and place it on there. And this isn't that bad. Do you want to try one? Okay. Go ahead. Wet your hands first, yeah, and make it easier to...
Too bad.
That's fine.
Thank you.
All righty. All right. And this is very forgiving. So just form a little circle. Beautiful. If you make it too thick, yeah, there we go. All right. And you just go along till you finish the whole batch. And as I said, this yields about 20 to 24 little patties or burgers. And then once you've finished, you can just pop it in the oven, 350. I preheat my oven 350 degrees and let it bake for about 30 minutes. And then you turn them over and bake it an additional 10 to 15 minutes depending on your oven. And you can add in, we've added in carrots, beets, zucchini, mushrooms, however you want, whatever your taste is. And you have some delicious burgers or patties. And as I said, my husband loves curry, so we put curry powder in it, and he just loved it. Yes? I wouldn't recommend olive oil, because if you heat it too high, it actually becomes a trans fat. But other oils that can tolerate a high heat. So you want to, for this, you have to melt the coconut oil and then add in the onions, the onion and garlic puree, and let it kind of saute until it starts to brown very slightly. Okay, when it has browned, you need to add in, I think, 2 cups of water. And then I put in like 2 teaspoons of sage and 2 teaspoons of the bedouin bouillon. And that is it. Wasn't it a great gravy? Very easy.
Do you use no flour?
Flour just to thicken it. Yes. Yeah. When you want to let everything kind of heat up together first. And then, once all that's, you just add 2 tablespoons. And this is the flour that I use right here. This is an organic flour. It's with sprouted grains. Oops, sprouted wheat. Yeah. It's a whole wheat flour. So you're getting your fiber. And just 2 tablespoons in there. And just stir as you heat it up, and it'll thicken it. And that's it.
That's the way us Southerners do it. I like it.
You like this. Very easy, very simple. Yeah. And no preservatives, no artificial colorants. And it's a tasty gravy. And it goes wonderful over the rice. This gravy got a little bit dried out because it was sitting on the sterno for a while. But that will make quite a bit of gravy. And I will... Excuse me? No, because the bedouin bouillon has enough. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and I think I added about 2 teaspoons of Bragg's liquid meat. I'll have the recipe typed up for you next week. All right. Okay, but that's it. Yes.
Claire, can you freeze these ahead of time?
Yes. Yes. But you have to separate them in parchment paper if you're doing them wet like this, unbaked, because they will stick together. That's why we wet our hands, so it doesn't stick to your hands. All right. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you all so much.
Let's give a round of applause, everybody. Cheryl, you ready?
Yep.